this second paragraph where it states, as the argument escalated?
Yes, sir.
It says, as the argument escalated, Miss Hardy, presumably Mr. Swicky's girlfriend, called 911, and the Sanford Police Department responded and arrived a few minutes later. It was during this time that Deputy Sawicki made the statement in the heat of argument, "If I lose my job, I'll kill you." Deputy Sawicki expressed regret during the interview making that statement. Do you see that there, sir?
Yes, sir.
So, not only did Deputy Mr. Sawicki batter his girlfriend, but he also threatened to kill his girlfriend, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, for this, and this is not Deputy Sawicki's first go-around with you, was he, for disciplinary purposes?
I don't recall if this one was not. We had a couple different instances.
If you look at your notice of termination on page 2, it indicates there was a sustained filing of
Yes, sir. Okay.
okay, right. I'm curious about September 30th, 2011. Failed to follow a directive order, driving off-duty, vehicle consuming alcohol, conduct on or off-duty. Do you see that there, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what that, without going into all the details, of course, do you know what that situation dealt with?
From what I recall, he admitted to getting his car and driving away from the apartment after he had consumed alcohol.
Okay. And it was during an argument with his girlfriend, Miss Hardy?
Yeah, he was leaving the argument, yes.
Okay. Didn't you suspend him for 40 days, or well, 40 days, 40 hours
Yes.
For that conduct?
Yes.
Okay. And so, as a result of the incident, the second incident involving Miss Hardy, where Mr. Sawicki battered her and threatened to kill her, you chose not to terminate him, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Was your initial thought to terminate him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So initially, did you give him notice that you were going to terminate his employment? Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you apparently reconsidered, right? Now, comparing again, Mr. Deane and Mr. Sawicki. You have Mr. Sawicki who battered his girlfriend. I don't know to what extent, and also he threatened to kill her. These are not qualities that you find acceptable in a deputy trust. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Deane, on the other hand, allowed girls to consume alcohol in his residence, committed a one-time texting violation, a one-time data violation, and inserted himself in a case where he should have allowed another deputy to handle it. Do you believe that the conduct of Mr. Deane was more serious and more determination, where Mr. Sawicki's did not?
Well, I can tell you, on this one right here, I made a mistake by not following through on the termination on him the first time and trying to be human and give him a second chance as a young officer. And I should have not backed up and allowed him to have another chance.
Okay. Did you make a mistake with respect to Mr. Deane?
I'm sorry.
Did you make a mistake with respect to Mr. Deane?
About not giving up? No, I think I did the correct thing.
Well, Mr. Deane had no prior suspensions, correct?
No, sir.
And Mr. Sawicki did a 40 hour suspension, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And Mr. Deane had, would you agree, an excellent performance history with your organization prior to this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why did you not simply give Mr. Deane a lengthy suspension rather than the ultimate penalty of termination?
Because of all the issues lumped together. That's why I did not give him a suspension. If it had been one or two of them, in fact, some of them would have rated maybe a letter. Some of them would have rated a suspension, but when we added them all together, it added up to a termination.
And you still stick by the proposition that what the offenses Mr. Deane allegedly committed were more serious than those and more disciplined than the incidents that Sawicki and Zimmer were involved in?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I'm just trying to decide what I'm going to do here. You're familiar with a deputy named John Harvey, sir?
Yes, sir.
Is John Harvey still with the agency? You have a copy of Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Good. Again, the important parts are tabbed. I don't expect anyone to have to read through 250 pages. Now, if I could turn your attention to tab, because of the objection, I won't go there again. Tab 2, please.
Be glad to.
Oh, once I give it to you.
What is tab 2?
Tab 2 is the final suspension. Yes, okay. Ms. Jones, are you with me? Okay. Now, you found that Mr. Harvey committed a misdemeanor in jurisdiction department, correct? And was that misdemeanor driving under the influence?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And any other misdemeanor that you found that he committed?
And that's the only one I recall.
Do you recall there being an allegation that he left the scene of an accident involving property
That
damage?
was part of DUI, yes, sir.
That was, in your mind, that was part of the DUI? Not a separate charge for leaving the scene?
They charged him separate when it came to what we were doing, that was all part of that.
So,
You're going back to,
well, let me ask you a different way. What specific misdemeanors did you find Mr. Harvey violated as a result of that internal affairs investigation?
one of that machine and the DUI.
Okay. And DUI is a first-degree misdemeanor, isn't it?
Yes.
Assuming it's the first offense, and I believe this to be Mr.
Yes.
Harvey's first offense. And leaving the scene of an accident with property damage, is that a misdemeanor
Yes, sir.
of the first degree?
I'm not sure, but it's a misdemeanor. I believe it is, but I'm not positive.
All right. Okay. Now, Mr. Harvey commits two misdemeanors. One first degree we know. One maybe first degree, one second degree. And what was the penalty you imposed upon him? Was it a 30-day suspension?
30-day suspension from what I recall.
And if I'm not mistaken, you gave Deputy Zimmer a 30-day suspension as well,
Yes,
didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And with respect to Deputy Sawicki, I think you reassigned him to the jail. You gave him may have been a 30-day suspension as well, and a last chance agreement. Does that sound right?
We went to jail, we don't have the jail.
Oh, court. You reassigned him to court.
I think, may have been the few, if that's what you say, I'll go with it.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. I was seeing jail, but it was happening in court. Now, just so we're on the same page. Sawicki, Harvey, and thank you, Zimmer, all committed first-degree misdemeanors, punishable by a year in jail, and what, a $500 fine, perhaps it's $1,000 fine. Is that right? Let's forget about the fine. They committed first-degree misdemeanors, each of them punishable by at least a year in jail, correct? Yes?
Yes,
And Mr. Deane committed a misdemeanor of the second degree, punishable by how many days in jail?
60.
60 days in jail. So, even though Mr. Sawicki, Harvey, and Zimmer were eligible for more jail time for the offenses you committed, that they committed, and Mr. Deane was subject to less, you gave Mr. Deane more punishment than you did Harvey, Zimmer, or Sawicki.
Well, Mr. Deane committed 2 misdemeanors. He misused David. He violated policies and procedures. All of that added together is what makes the difference.
happier. I'm almost done. That's all the questions I have this time.
Are you done,
Yes, ma'am.
Nancy? You have a rebuttal?
I'm checking. Sheriff, is it fair to say that when you're deciding what penalty to impose in any given case, that you do consider other like cases with factually similar cases, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Objection to the leading form of these questions.
So while you may have done something different in these other cases.
I'm sorry, can I get a ruling on the objection? She's asking leading
Rephrase
questions of her
your
own witness.
question.
In your decision to terminate Mr. Deane, did you take into account other cases of employees who had committed misdemeanors or had been found to have violated the misdemeanor injurious to a department directive in deciding whether or not to fire Mr. Deane or do something else?
Yes, I did.
And did you, and why did you feel that these cases, particularly the ones he's brought to you today, were less egregious than Mr. Deane's?
Well, in the case here was, once again, it's because you have all of them piled on top of one another, and not one or two. And so here, this was a conglomeration of cases lumped together.
Are you saying that it was a repeated judgment errors rather than just one incident?
Objection, leading question.
Rephrase.
There was numerous judgment errors.
I'm sorry, there was an objection.
He's answered the question.
Over sustained objection, but so be it.
I have nothing further.
I have nothing further for you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff, we appreciate you.
Justice Jones?
No, not at this time. We may have rebuttal, but.
Do you have any more witnesses?
I do.
you want to call?
Do you want to take a break or keep moving?
Let's take a short break.